Devontae, how you doing, man? How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself, Rich?
Oh my gosh, we're just blowing up right here. A lot of offers in the past week. I think you're the eighth testimonial video I've done in just the last 72 hours. So I'm very happy that people are landing jobs, and it's my responsibility to make sure people are getting the higher rates, and making sure that they're finding places where they don't end up back in the job hunt this year at least. So how are things how's everything going with you?
All good, all good. Yeah, you mentioned the community is definitely picking up. I spoke to a few members off to the side, and yeah, everyone's doing really well right now. Outside of that, myself just really hanging in there, trying to enjoy the fun parts of unemployment now before I get back into the workforce.
Oh man, you're out, dude. You're out of the Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Heard my name called.
Yeah. So I think I think your story is actually so inspiring. The reason why I wanted to do your testimonial specifically was because unfortunately in the past year and a half we saw a lot of layoffs, but you actually came in at about, I would say, 12 to 15% that we've measured from our CRM was a group of product managers that was unfortunately impacted, even though the company was doing well.
Yeah.
So, talk to us a little bit about that.
Definitely. Yeah. So coming from the organization of that previously, uh, really just the direction started to pivot in terms of where leadership wanted to go. They had wanted to focus on the marketplace and moving into more global aspects and opening in different markets. But me being on the SaaS platform side, there wasn't really too much in their plans there. And seeing how a lot of the products I had weren't generating revenue just based off of the sales structure of the brand. Really just saw put myself in a liability, even though I was the only person managing several of those products. When it was time to make cuts and it wasn't really that strong of a year as anticipated, even though they did do pretty well, it just kind of left me out in the cold.
That is absolutely, absolutely horrible, considering that there are so many companies right now that when they're seeing other companies do layoffs, they're just thinking to themselves, should they be doing the layoffs? That's why, the companies that impact the layoffs the most are actually the bigger companies on the top. And of course, there's a trickle down and trickle around effect because all of the other businesses that really have like a Meta or an Amazon as a client, right? And then the indirect impact is like, well, if they're doing layoffs, then we should do layoffs too. I mean, did you see any warning signs, or did that really just catch you off guard?
No, not really. So I mean, I knew we had budget meetings, at the end of the year, and you submit your roadmaps, and then you speak to your director, and then you speak with some of the executives on the leadership team. But that was really it. I did recall hearing something maybe about 2 weeks before I was actually laid off. That some of the talks weren't going well, but it didn't think it would be impacting my team. Didn't think anything just really negative would be happening, but outside of that one really signal from my director, not really. But I mean, like you said, I think my hypothesis is the industry and really the organization took the lead from other leading brands throughout the industry. And, if they're doing it, why are we doing it type of thing. That's my hypothesis too.
What was you got impacted probably. I think they dropped the ball on you guys like at the worst possible time, which was actually right around the holidays. Was when I spoke with you. Like how was that job hunting in the holidays?
Actually, I didn't hear it until January 17th or something like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think we first connected and started chatting around December.
Right.
But yeah, the actual impact was around mid-January.
Ooh. What was I mean, what were the biggest challenges coming into the job hunt this time around, and like how did you find your way around it?
Really just how much things have changed in the past. The resume format that I had previously, apparently that's outdated and couldn't be using that anymore. The in-depth, interview process, the several rounds or whether it's a panel interview or a case study, um, you know, that wasn't quite to the level I recall 2 years ago or about 3 years ago when I was, last in the job market. So really just some of the things that I had used previously to find my last role or even, get offers in the past wasn't really doing it. Especially this go around, a lot of times organizations more focused on what you did and how you contributed with the teams that you're working with, but it was a lot more focus and emphasis on the actual outcomes of the products that you were shipping this go around, which makes sense, rightfully so, honestly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So how many interviews were you averaging when you were working with us versus like before you were working in product gym?
Definitely. I'd probably say at the peak, I'd have some form of interview at least once a day. So I know there's probably like 2 or 3 weeks, probably a month or so ago, where I was having some form of interview every day, whether it was a screening or a hiring manager or a panel, some type of interview. I'd probably say at least once a day. Prior to that, getting one a week was a good week for me. So definitely a drastic difference.
What about in terms of offers? Like how many offers were you able to secure in our program?
As of right now, only one. The one with the American Heart Association. Looking to get another one with another organization, but the final round coming up later this week. But yeah, as of this point, just the one.
Oh, what's your biggest like takeaway that you can impart on the people that are because there's still a lot of people that are out there struggling. There's some people out there as you've met in the community that come from I think it's crazy that like the amount of talent that we have in our community, the number of MBAs and fancy shiny logos that we've had, a lot of people struggling. Like what advice would you have for them that's actually out there in the job hunt right now?
I'd probably say the biggest thing is don't do it alone. What attracted me to Product Gym is the fact that there was a community of people either that were recently impacted by layoffs or people trying to break into the industry or people just really wanted to get into their next role. So just being around everyone that was in the similar mindset, regardless of what particular field they were in and where they were in their journey or their search, definitely helped out a lot. I was definitely able to make a lot of connections, see what other things people were going through, get insights from the interviews that other people were taking, and really just being able to collaborate, speak to people and kind of just be surrounded by a community that people were going through the same thing. That definitely helped a lot.
100%, man. I mean, how many applications were you cranking out like a day? As I know you were pretty vicious about it, like in terms of like putting up some like Steph Curry numbers.
Yeah, no, it was pretty aggressive there for a little bit. I'd probably say a day on the low end. I'd probably say 25 on the low end. There's days I've definitely got up to 40, where I just really just wake up and just get after it. And that includes the cold outreach too. So not just applying, but then actually just finding someone on LinkedIn to actually reach out to, whether on LinkedIn or through their email address. So I'd probably say at least 25 most days, but then the days where I'm completely locked in, probably close to 40.
How did you stay like mentally? How did you stay like mentally sane? I mean, gunning for a job because like so many people they have like there's like obviously like you should have like some money set aside, but it's just like when it rains it pours. Like people tell me like other things in their life all of a sudden took them away. Like how did you stay mentally sane, like managing your anxiety and all that throughout the process?
Who said I stayed mentally sane? It was rough, man. Honestly, it was rough. There's days I would, just pick up and call my brother or, call my dad, just like, I don't know if I could do this. This is rough. I might need to pivot into a different career or something. But honestly, really just, again, the community really, really helped a lot. Just knowing, be able to speak to people that are looking for the same roles I am, applying for the same things I am, and really just being in the same boat as I am. It definitely helped a lot. Obviously going for walks in the middle of the day, staying consistent with the gym. I didn't, really, take any days off of that. So trying to keep as much of a routine as well. That definitely helped as well. But it definitely wasn't easy. It's not an enjoyable process.
I stay mental.
Being honest, man.
Yeah, like one of our other testimonials with Dennis and a few other people, they're like, there's so much content out there about like, how to do this like quick and easy. And it's just like, no, this is a slow cook burner, like
Yeah.
this is a brisket that you're gonna be roasting for like 7 days.
Yeah, a dry aged brisket at that. Yeah, no, it's rough, man. Even in the perspective of like, if you only apply to one job and you happen to get that whole process is going to take a month in itself before you get an offer. So just knowing that, you have to be prepared to, slow cook this thing for a while and just keep going, even when you get the nose.
That's it's brutal out there. It is rock hard brutal out there.
Oh yeah.
Brutal out there. Oh man.
I will,
Well,
I will say you mentioned advice earlier. There's something that did help me early on, even though none of these converted. But at least in terms of applying to get in that first interview, definitely use your network. The amount of screenings I got, or even just jumped straight to the hiring manager, just from talking to people in my network that were their companies had an open role, or they knew someone in a different organization that had an open role. That definitely helped a lot, and securing those early interviews, while none of them converted, definitely opened my eyes again in terms of what the industry was looking for now. Start to kind of formulate and practice some of those stories that I've created around my experience. So yeah, that definitely reaching out to your network helps a lot.
brutal. This is
Oh yeah.
probably the most brutal and vicious job hunt that I've seen people embark on in the close to 10 years that I've been in this racket, including my time in tech recruiting. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
Well,
one of my former mentors, I guess, current colleague was saying it hasn't been this bad since the dot-com, you know,
99.com.
recession. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean that's over almost 25 years ago now. So yeah, it's rough.
Well, originally we had connected, I think actually through like either a webinar or like your initial like call with us was about whether or not product managers should start a side hustle. How do you feel about
A thousand percent. It's almost required at this point. You mentioned actually, getting into, Fiverr or Upwork or one of those other organizations, and that's something that I, started to look into myself and just see what was going on, and just really, honestly, just starting to study to see, how other people were, getting work done there. So I'd probably say it was almost imperative now.
Yeah, that's actually we're getting ready to drop some. I've been so bogged down on I actually pushed it back by a week and a half, but I have a lot of updates in that arena. And I think it's just strictly because like the tone has changed so much in the last 5 months from like I think I should start a side hustle to now it's like people have been I dropped the video over last Friday called 13 income streams every product manager should have. I don't know if you got a chance to see that one.
I haven't seen that one. That sounds like a good one, though. I need to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
a
yeah,
look at
yeah,
it.
yeah. I've had some friends in town, but like I had like about like my assistant already counted. We have more than 100 pings just by Friday night. And we
Wow.
dropped it. We actually totally forgot about it. We dropped it on 4:30 Eastern time on Friday afternoon. And
Wow.
people are like, yeah, how do I start on income stream 2 or 6? A lot of people asked about 8. I'll have more content on that, but people
Okay.
are like, it's like once it's almost like a security system hitting your family up after they know you got robbed. And it's like, yes, yeah, yeah, it is. It's brutal out there. I wish the job hunt basically on nobody, but I guess like now so many poor people are going to be taking about like um so many people have been asking me about how to monetize off of like either coaching, courses, consulting, what other things that they can do to monetize off of their brand. I absolutely recommend that for every product manager to protect themselves. Otherwise, it's you could be in a world of hurt, and I wish that on nobody.
For sure. I mean, even outside of the point where you need to actually eat and you need to earn income,
Right.
being able to tell the story and fill those employment gaps by saying you were doing something helps a lot too. Going over and talking about being laid off and how you aren't currently doing anything right now is always not the easiest conversation. So being able to fill that time with, oh, I was consulting or I was writing courses, that always helps for sure.
Oh. Well, anyways, man, I'm so glad you're out of the race. Very much well deserved. For now, you are more than safe and sound. You go out there and breathe a little bit easier. We'll connect on side hustling soon enough. I promise you that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going to take a look after I get off this call. First objective.
You and the other 8 testimonials that I recorded, they're all, I was like, I've just been so backed up on testimonial calls, but I was like, it's dropping this Friday. I've been making a lot of updates to kind of reflect a lot of the changes. The market is so crazy right now, how fast everything is moving. I really felt like product management and tech as a field from 2013 onwards, so like 2020 was on a straight growth trajectory. There's a lot of stability over there. Obviously, that 1 year in COVID changed a lot of the work dynamic, working from home. And then after COVID-19, when people figured out how to actually, I think, achieve a higher degree of efficiency working from home in 2021, that's when things really took off. And then 2022 happened, and it was just like it's just been getting progressively worse since 2022. And then now people are looking at, if I'm applying that same level of tenacity and effort, just to probably get like a 15K bonus at the end of the year, and there's a bunch of these younger kids that are just making that like in a month on TikTok or YouTube, right? Like there's got to be a better way to go ahead and make money, and I think we have got a lot of very talented and very smart individuals that I think are just working way too hard, too many hours, and I think for too little money. Overall, for a one-sided love affair that is not being reciprocated. In your case, I was really amazed when we did the numbers of how many people were trying to break in versus how many people were impacted versus how many people were preemptively. I was really surprised that 12 to 15% of the membership has been made up of impacted members, impacted product managers from companies that were financially healthy and had really did not have a legitimate reason to be doing layoffs other than the fact of just doing layoffs for the sake of doing layoffs. Uh,
Yeah, signals, man. Like you said, other big companies were doing it. Why aren't we doing it, kind of thing.
Horrible. Well, I'm gonna let you get about the rest of your day. Rest easy. I'm gonna let you know about the side hustle thing soon enough, but rest easy. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Thank you
Looking
so
forward
much.
to it, man.